Good morning, everyone. It's about 3 a.m. and I'm still up, but I'm trying to finish this and I'm trying to put this video together. I wanted to say how much fun it is to have been working with all of you through the postings and learning from each other and outside of the box, and truly just get everybody's perspective on topics. I'm learning so much because it's not something that I would think about, and you teaching me really to apply the different approaches to my own cognition, so to speak. Aaron left you a message. I had to post it because he was so excited. He found this whole entire program how to upload videos, and he was saying, Mom, I can help you with this. And I want to say hi to all the class members whom I met at Lakehead, even if it was just a short time. I think DS1 did something to Aaron because he's the one who's constantly working with me on my ideas, and he's actually enjoying it. A 14-year-old, I don't know what's going on. But on a more serious note, I want you to help me out because I have been contemplating to work on this topic for a long time. There was a different one that Dr. Barnavad I sent you, but that was also one I loved, but there was no hardly any research actually done on it. So I have decided to work on the question of how to help long-term memory retention with vocabulary in second language acquisition. And there are two formats that are prevailing. It's either the implicit teaching methods or the explicit teaching methods. By implicit teaching, if you think about those of you who don't speak a second language or you didn't have to learn it and didn't have to apply it on the daily basis, it's something implicit that we have been talking about based on Willingham's discussions, that it comes naturally. You learn from a natural environment, just like learning your first language, just like learning to drive a car. Anything that eventually becomes so automated and well established in your motor skills and in your thinking that you figure it out, but it's basically called implicit knowing how, and you can't really explain why. You know it, but you don't, just like with your first language, you don't really explain the grammar rules to someone when you speak English. This is why I did this, or this is how it's being said, the reason for it. Whereas explicit teaching would be that you are exposed to a type of learning where the teacher provides, yes, explicitly explaining certain things, but by explicit I mean it comes with providing the students with deep cognitional processes where they have to apply the vocabulary in areas that allow them to, through matching activities, cloze exercises, start off simple and then eventually turn into role plays and writing where they apply that, and eventually leading to the implicit level, which is reading. And what they say that reading is really the number one way to increase foreign language vocabulary because of the rich environment that it provides. The only problem is that I have been dealing with this for the past 18 years. When you teach something like Themen 1, and you see this here, the A1 level that we have to achieve by the end of the first semester, and I'm showing you that there is vocabulary length such as they have to within a week, absorb vocabulary, and then of course there's a second page to this vocabulary, and they have to make sure that by the end of the semester they get to this A1 level, which is a high beginner level. Then in the second semester we go on to the A2 level, which does recycle the vocabulary, but obviously there is a whole lot of new sections that are added to it, and it makes it very, very hard. And for me too, to see how many different ways can I provide my students within the hour of 1 hour and 20 minutes, even though it's a double credit course and it's given to them 4 times a week, provided to them, that memory will stay in long-term memory. We'd go from the working memory to long-term memory. And when you internalize a language, you're going through the deep cognitive processes and it will stay with you. And the problem with vocabulary is that it'll be forgotten if it's not practiced. And there are two ways. There's one theory that says it's the decay theory, like not practicing and not using. There's another theory, however, that says, no, vocabulary is there if you have been exposed to it enough times for you to internalize it, but there is an interference theory that something does not let that vocabulary resurface. There's some blockage going on, and that's my chocolate falling. And that means that it's there, just like we talked about how many times we know something, but then we forget it, and then later on we remember. And that's exactly that. Something is interfering for that vocabulary to surface. So, in your opinion, what contributes better to long-term memory processes? Is it the implicit teaching or is it the explicit teaching? Or do you see that maybe a mixture of both, as the constructivist theories say, that it has to be a healthy mixture of both of these? From my perspective, I'm trying to prove that you cannot start with implicit teaching until the students reach a certain level of vocabulary knowledge, because I can use graded readers and I can provide them with very artificial stories that, let's say, I create, and trying to use the language that they are comfortable with within the zone of proximal development. But if I just try to use any type of articles from actual magazines, authentic, there's going to be a huge vocab influx, and the students might not necessarily enjoy that until they reach an intermediate level. Then I see the relevance. But my big question is, how do I help my students to retain the large amount of vocab they take in within a short period of time and internalize it and keep it in long-term memory? So I will take any of you who have great ideas on how to help that by finding me articles that provide me ideas on implicit versus explicit teaching and learning, and as well as from your own opinion. So those of you who are in the second language learning category that I was with English, so Pinar and Min and Eduardo, what helped you more, being involved, being immersed, lot of reading, or did you like the fact that the teacher explained, provided you with deep cognitive processes that you could apply within the classroom, and that's what helped you retain the vocab? From example, Tim, you love hockey. In hockey culture, I don't really know much of hockey, but I know there's gameplays and there's practices. What's happening first? Do you see a healthy mix of explain the coach explaining what exactly needs to happen, who plays what position, or do the kids eventually figure out and they just start playing, and then it just naturally comes to them after a while that these are the positions that I have to do? So please help me out from that perspective, okay? Then your online teaching, what do you prefer? Is there things that you can communicate to or you have to communicate through your students? And that goes for Helen as well, through explicitly teaching them, in your case, digital technologies, or you just let them immerse themselves. Or Sophie, you are in library science, and when you have professors or people who have to take courses and they have to learn new programs, do you let them delve into it, or you actually and play around with it until they feel comfortable and then ask questions, or you explicitly teach certain strategies and then that within obviously a context-based approach, and then help them repeat and repeat until they feel comfortable and say, okay, now I got it. So my main idea is here, main question is, how do we prevent the memory decay, and how do we enforce the retention of vocabulary? I hope, Dr. Barnava, that's a good topic. If not, please do a comment and let me know. I'm really interested in this. So implicit versus explicit, and I hope I didn't leave off anyone from my introduction, because I am thoroughly enjoying the course with you guys, and wishing everybody good luck with our final paper, and hopefully you guys can give me lots of great ideas. Thank you and have a good day. Bye, guys.